Janelle emailed me the invitation on the spur of the moment, and I nearly didn't go to the party that night. I had spent the entire week troubleshooting lines of code that felt more like ancient scripture. Respond work had exhausted me. Compared to contemporary systems, her SMS message, "You need to stop rotting alone and talk to humans," hit different. I put on a pair of jeans because it felt like I was being called out. But only a friend who truly understands your innermost thoughts can get away with that. I drove across town to her place, jacket rolled up in the passenger seat. The moment I stepped into her flat, it hit me. Candle smoke, a jungle of half-empty. Wine cups and indie music playing over Bluetooth speakers. Most of the guests were circled up, laughing over old inside jokes, holding small paper plates like shields. I scanned the room. I nodded to a few people I knew, did the classic social escape move, and headed for the snack table. And that's when I saw her. She stood by herself near the guacamole and chips. She wore a mustard yellow off-the-shoulder top that somehow made her look both confident and unaware of her beauty. Arms crossed, she had that look of someone quietly pondering whether they should have just stayed home. No phone in her hand, no fake texting, just present. I don't know what made me approach her. Maybe it was the subtle way her eyes scanned the room, cautious but curious. Maybe it was that I hate seeing people feel out of place. Or maybe I was already a little doomed. I grabbed the salsa, turned to her and murmured, "I think this dip could have just filed a health violation." Her head jerked toward me, and for a brief second I was terrified she'd think I was strange. But then she laughed. Not a polite chuckle, not a pity giggle, a real, abrupt from the stomach kind of laugh that cracked the air between us. It had a little rasp. It went right through me. She raised an eyebrow. "That bad, huh?" She reached for a chip. "Don't blame me when you end. Up with food poisoning by 3 a.m., I'll hold you personally responsible." She crunched into the chip, and we stood there by the snack table, just like everyone else. But it felt different. She introduced herself as Mariah. I said my name was Julian. From there, it was easy. We didn't do the fake dating app small talk. We talked like old friends catching up. Her voice? It had this music to it. She told me about growing up in Chapel Hill, reading books under the covers with a flashlight. I told her how I used to take radios apart to see how they worked, sometimes without being able to put them back together. She laughed again. When the inevitable topic of exes came up, I treaded lightly. She spoke openly about a long relationship with a guy named Tobias in college. No drama. Just a memory placed neatly in a box stored in the attic. I nodded. Didn't press. It wasn't my place yet, but I still filed the name away. Not out of jealousy, but because I knew the party was shifting around us. Around midnight, Janelle walked over, winked at me, and whispered to Mariah, "He's the least boring guy in this room." Excellent choice. Mariah blushed, but she stayed. She shivered slightly, and out of reflex I offered her my jacket. She refused at first, but I insisted. And when she finally slipped her arms into the sleeves, that small act, just fabric, just warmth, felt like the start of something real. She smiled, softly, sweetly. That moment still sticks with me. When I walked her to her car, I expected a quiet goodbye. Instead, she leaned against the door, tilted her head, and said, "You're not like most guys. Is that a compliment or a red flag?" She grinned. "I'll let you know." Later that night, lying in bed, my jacket still missing, her perfume faint on the sleeves, all I could think about was her laugh. That salsa joke. I'd been the rational one in most of my past relationships. But with her, it felt effortless, natural, comfortable. 2 months in, we were seeing each other every weekend. Late-night movies, food truck festivals, playful debates about her favorite music. She liked alt-pop. I was a jazz and soul guy. She met my best friend Malik. I met her sister Riley. Everyone loved her. My dad even said she brought light back into my eyes. By the 6th month, we moved in together, tiny apartment in Brookside, 1 bedroom, finicky heater, a second-hand couch that sagged in the middle, but it was ours. On move-in day, she threw her hands in the air and said, "We made a nest." I laughed, because yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. A year and a half later, we were still barefoot in the kitchen, flour on our clothes, making homemade pizza. That's when I proposed. She said yes through tears, holding a dish towel, and the ring like it was too precious to believe. I thought I'd found the kind of love that lasts a lifetime, the kind of love that begins at the snack table with a dumb joke and stretches forever. But forever is a word people use too, easily, and maybe, just maybe. If I'd known how it would all turn out, I would have clung to that first laugh a little longer, memorized it, not just the sound, but the feeling. Because years later, it's that laugh I'd hold on to, trying to understand how real love can fade so quietly. But I wasn't thinking about that back then. Back then, I was just a man falling in love with a woman who laughed honestly. Her shoulders were stiff and her breathing had that unnatural rhythm, the kind people fake when they want you to think they're asleep. I stared at the ceiling for what felt like hours, counting cracks and shadows, trying not to spiral into questions I wasn't ready to hear the answers to. Eventually, I whispered, "I miss you," not sure if it was for her to hear or just a thought I needed to release into the dark. She didn't stir, didn't move. And something about that silence felt louder than any argument could have been. The days blurred after that. She started spending more time at work, and even when we were in the same room, we weren't together. Conversations turned to updates. Touch became habit love, felt scheduled, but I still believed in her, in us. Because love isn't just about butterflies, it's about staying, even when the air feels heavy. It's about choosing someone every day. But then came that night. She left her phone unlocked, not on purpose, I don't think, just carelessness, or maybe a subconscious confession. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just setting an alarm. But one notification changed everything. It was Tobias. A message, innocent-looking on the surface. That song still reminds me of that night. "Hope you're doing well," and below it, her reply. I think about it too. Sometimes more than I should. I froze. Time stopped. Not because it was explosive, not because there was proof of anything physical, but because that one sentence held more intimacy than anything we'd said to each other in